As the 2025 general election draws nearer, Hsien Yang, the youngest son of Singapore's founding Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew, has once again issued a strong critique of the ruling People's Action Party. In a recent Facebook post on Sunday, 13th April, LHY made a compelling case for greater political diversity and opposition representation within Singapore's political landscape. In his post, LHY urged Singaporeans to recognize the importance of new ideas and approaches, arguing that the country's future depends on more than just the same policies from the ruling party. In an uncertain and unpredictable world, Singapore needs new voices, new ideas, new approaches, not more of the same, imposed with a harder, stronger, more secretive and more authoritarian streak, he wrote. LHY emphasized that Singapore's political environment must evolve, and that the country would benefit from a more diverse and dynamic decision-making process. He argued that a healthy democracy requires vigorous debate and differing perspectives, and that these are best achieved through a multi-party parliament that reflects the views of all Singaporeans. Diversity builds resilience, LHY noted, stressing that the variety of opinions and discussions would help strengthen the nation. To further drive his point home, LHY used the analogy of genetic inbreeding in nature to describe the PAP's internal structure. He claimed that political inbreeding within the party has led to promotions being made within a narrow and insular group, leaving little room for fresh perspectives. The result, he argued, is a party that is increasingly disconnected from the needs of the broader population. The PAP has become an ivory tower of paper pushers, not national leaders, LHY remarked, suggesting that the party's leadership, composed largely of former civil servants and ex-military officials, lacks the necessary diversity of thought to drive the country forward. In contrast, LHY pointed to research by the Financial Times that found the strength or weakness of a government, or its political leanings, did not significantly impact a country's economy. The key factor for success, the article suggested, is the introduction of fresh faces into the political arena. Long periods of incumbency, it argued, can lead to stagnation and decay, which could be detrimental to both the economy and the nation's future. The former Prime Minister's son also noted that while the PAP continues to call for a strong mandate, invoking the fear of economic threats, such as tariffs, it fails to address the growing concerns of the average Singaporean. The high cost of living in Singapore, which has become the most expensive city in the world, is a pressing issue for many. LHY pointed to the increasing income inequality and the rising unaffordability of housing as examples of the widening gap between the rich and the rest of the population. Voting for the opposition is the safest choice for Singapore, LHY argued. It is not rocking the boat, but saving our boat from sinking. He highlighted the dangers of continuing with the current government, which he accused of operating with a lack of accountability and growing failures. The party's culture of own-self check own-self and a tendency to own-self look after own-self, LHY claimed, could ultimately threaten Singapore's future stability. LHY also referenced the words of prominent Singaporean political figures, such as Tharman Shanmugaratnam, President of Singapore, who has previously stated that a strong opposition is beneficial for the PAP and for the nation as a whole. He pointed out that former Foreign Affairs Minister George Yeo echoed this sentiment, underscoring the importance of a credible opposition to provide an alternative should the PAP become corrupt or ineffective. With the 2025 general election looming, LHY reiterated that a more representative parliament would serve as insurance for a better future for Singaporeans. As speculation rises about the possible timing of the election, which is set to be held by November 2025, many are predicting it could occur as early as May. LHY, who has been living in exile in the United Kingdom since being granted asylum in 2024, cited political persecution in Singapore as the reason for his move. His wife, Lee Suet-Fern, also joined him in seeking asylum. LHY left Singapore in 2022 after a series of legal and governmental actions were taken against him and his family. Lee Suet-Fern faced disciplinary proceedings and was suspended for 15 months from practicing law due to allegations of misconduct linked to the handling of the late LKY's will. Their son, Lee Sheng-woo, was fined for contempt of court following a private Facebook post. In October 2024, Lee revealed, "I sought asylum protection as a last resort. I remain a Singapore citizen and hope that someday it will become safe to return home. A long-time critic of the People's Action Party, Lee's political stance has grown increasingly aligned with alternative movements, such as the Progress Singapore Party, founded by former PAP Member of Parliament Tan Cheng Bock. He joined PSP during the 2020 general election. In his 2019 Facebook post, he asserted that the PAP of today had strayed from the values and principles once held by his father, Lee Kuan Yew.